What's up, everybody, and welcome to the FPL Wildcats Live. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening. And before we get into the festivities, please do remember to like. We've got 15 likes and we have 19 people currently watching. So if you haven't liked the video yet, go ahead and do that. And subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can catch all our streams after this. And I'll pass over to Nin.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, and welcome everyone to the stream. It's the OG team tonight, as we were a little unsure what night we'd be coming to you from. So here you are, Bonfire Night with a pop, a bang, and a whistle. We have myself, FPL Ninfria, JNO from FPL Today, Brett from FPL TV, and finally we have Kurt of Kurt. We always kick off by taking a look back on how we got on last game week. So, Kurt, would you like to kick us off, please, buddy?
I had myself muted because I was eating. I'm never first, and they throw me in first.
I was thinking, oh no, what have I
don't even
done
have the web page load up. Bear with me. 57 points I got apparently. Yeah, not a good week for Kurt. 2 game weeks in a row, I've had Son as captain, and he's hauled for me. So I thought he's not deserved to get rid of him yet. So I thought I'll keep Son again when he's blanked. I've not got too many complaints. He's been brilliant for the last 2 weeks. So, good runs always have to come to an end at some point. It does for every team. 57 in total. A lot of decent performers. I'd say Kilman 6, Chilwell 6, Salah 8, Ings 6, Kane 6. Decent, but you could have done with them maybe pushing on, getting something else apart from the clean sheets or goals or assists they got. Ings now injured as well, which is a bit of a headache on my team. Grealish, though, in that goal fest against Southampton, doing all right. 1 goal, 2 assists. So, I'll take that. But captaincy fail, Ayling getting nothing, Fernandes on 2. To be honest, if Ings wasn't injured, I'd be looking at getting rid of Fernandes the way Man United are going at the moment. I've had a lot of faith in them, but the way they played in Europe is really worrying. The way Fernandes played in Europe, he looks like a man that needs a rest, that hasn't had a rest, and now he's paying the price for it. Zaha on 1 as well is a bit of a disappointment. He hasn't done much since I've got him in. I can't remember when I got him in, but he hasn't done much since I got him in. Well, I think he's only had for 2 weeks. The last week because he was decent. This week it wasn't. But he's got a lot of good fixtures coming up. Then I'll be looking at getting rid of him because the fixtures get a lot tougher. But it's a red arrow. I'm now just outside 2 million. So not the best, but 57 with a -4, so 53, bang on the average. Just at the moment, I'm in that sort of weird limbo zone where I'm just doing enough to stay average. I'm not progressing on. Kane, Ings, Kilman, Chilwell, one of them get an extra assist or anything could maybe get them another, good luck, good amount of points with some bonus points as well. It's one of those things. If Son holds, I've done all right. If my vice captain was Salah, if I'd had him captain, he'd done all right. But at the end of the day, these weeks happen. I'm not too fussed about it. I've got the red arrow to show support for everyone else fighting the good fight. But 57 -4, so 53. These weeks happen. Just got to move on.
What's the plan with Ings, Kurt?
Get rid of him. He's out until December. I'm seeing on the website, so I'll be getting rid of him. I just do not know who for. I want to try and go a week without doing a -4 because at the moment it is more regular than I thought it would.
Wow, changed his tune there.
Well, it's only for 1 week.
Yeah, I'll cut you some slack. Yeah.
But the problem is that there's no one really around the sort of price bracket that I really fancy. I mean, Kane I've got. I won't transfer Aguero or Jesus in just because of the threat of them being rotated. Vardy's an option, but the problem with that is there's a couple of tricky fixtures in there for him. Timo Werner's not solid enough. Bobby Firmino's pants. Anthony Martial, not really sure what to expect from him. He's been banned up until now, but has good fixtures. But Man United aren't playing the best. Jimenez, I did have Jimenez at one point. He's a potential, but again, looking at the fixtures for Wolves, they're absolutely shocking. And then you go down to Lacazette, Cavani. It's just, I'll be going down in price to the next one. I'm just really not sure who.
Okay, cool. Jay, would you like to tell us how you got on, buddy?
Yeah, so decent game week for me. I got 74 points. Sees me just outside the top 500k. So we're moving in the right direction. When 7 of your players return, it's usually going to be a decent game week as long as your captain does as well. And Salah did get at least the 1 goal, which got doubled up to 16. Grealish, great performance by him. Was worried at first because, of course, Southampton did do a bit of a madness at first with Ward-Prowse and his free kicks. But to be fair, looking at the data from that match, the kind of chances that Ward-Prowse and Ings were finishing isn't really a knock on Aston Villa's defence. So, although I was quite down on Martinez because he's got a 0 in that game, I actually think Aston Villa's defence is still okay. They just have come up against 2 opponents that are probably better quality than a lot of the opponents they'll come up against. Werner playing was very lucky for me, to be fair, because Pulisic was meant to start and Werner get rested. And I was just lucky I had Lamptey to come off the bench as well with the 9 points. So overall, very good game week, and hopefully we'll keep that momentum going.
Okay. Sorry, I just saw another own goal for Arsenal. Cool. On to me then. It was a great game week for me for once. 65 points. It looked hugely grim when Sace and Mitchell did not start last Friday evening, especially with one of them not even being on the bench. And to be honest, as you can see, that was not where the shock ended for me. As Jay said, Martinez conceded 4 goals for 0 points. Foden didn't start and only came on for 1 minute, and Son just getting the 2 points. So really, it looked quite bad for quite a little while. So it was the rest of my team and Lamptey, basically, from my bench that saved me. Salah was my captain, thankfully. So 16 points from him delivering. Grealish, as Kurt said, and Jay said, was, a late show, but a very welcome one with 15 points. And then thankfully, all 3 of my forward line scored a goal. Only Calvert-Lewin with the bonus points, though. So Lamptey was the first of my defenders on my bench. It wasn't the first of my players on my bench, but the first of my defenders on my bench, and came in after scoring that goal and getting 9 points, which was just glorious because I really needed that. My defense is a big worry for me now this week. And like Kurt, I have the injured Ings to worry about as well. So it's probably going to be a -4 for me. And if you think I'm sat a little bit weird, I'm so sorry. I have a small dog on my lap that's fallen asleep on my arm.
I think it's just out of shot as well.
So probably makes me look really odd right at this moment in time. But yeah, that was me really, and I'm a little bit like Kurt, not really sure who to move Ings on for. Pretty sure we'll discuss it a bit more in depth later. At the moment, I think my top 2 are probably Wilson and Martial. And I am between Chilwell and Zuma for Sace, just to try and help shore up my defensive line because, it's not great at the moment. So, Brett, would you like to tell us how you go on, buddy?
Sure. Not good this week, unfortunately. 49. The captaincy choice this week for me was between Kane, Salah, and Son, and obviously I picked the one that blanked. Just can't get the rub of the green with captaincy really so far. That's 4 captaincy blanks now from 7, and my highest captaincy score has been 7 points. So I've only captained the big hitters: Salah, De Bruyne, Aubameyang, Son. But the most I got is 7 points from them. So yeah, it's very hard to make progress. A bit like Kurt was saying, like, even though I had a bad game week, the other 10 players got 45. And I feel like 45 is okay from 10. So if Son gets a 10-pointer, which isn't too much to ask for, that goes from 45 to 65, and it changes the entire outlook of your game week. You've got all the same players, but just that captaincy return changes your perspective on everything. And you end up being happy about everything, But when you captain blanks, you start questioning your entire squad then. So it's very easy to kind of forget that, it's just the captaincy. Really, I just can't get the rub of the green.
If you look at Kurt's score, he was a captaincy score away from my score, pretty much.
Yeah.
It seems a bigger gap, but all he needed was a captain to score, get maybe an assist as well. And then he's right up there with me.
Exactly. It changes everything, So, you're on 74, 24 points, away from me, 25 points. That's a 12-pointer for Son. Is that much to ask for? It's not asking for much. It could have happened. It didn't, and it changes the context of the game week. So, captaincy is so important, and I just cannot get it right. And, the other popular captains did a bit more. So, yeah, it is what it is, 2.6 million, I think, and hopefully I can start nailing some captaincy soon.
Yeah. Are you thinking of doing any transfers this week, Brett?
Yeah, I've done one already. I had just enough cash to go from Harvey Barnes to Grealish before his price rise. And I weighed up the -4 for Barnes to Grealish last week. But in the end, with Grealish getting 15 and Barnes getting 8, if I'd taken a -4, it would have been like a 3-point gain. So the Grealish haul was sickening for me because he was so highly owned, and it happened in like the last 2 minutes when he went from like 5 points to 15. Same with Calvert-Lewin. The 2 players, Grealish and Calvert-Lewin, that I wanted to stay quiet, they both scored really close to the end of the game. So I was like, almost got away with it, But yeah, Grealish is in now. Arsenal away is not the best game to bring him in, but I don't want to keep making excuses not to get him every week. So I just thought, just get him in. His fixtures are too good. I've been talking about him for weeks now. just get him in. So yeah, I feel happy to have him, even if he blanks against Arsenal. I think he's a good long-term option now.
Okay, cool. Okay. Right then, so on to our first question. RP Pristavu says, hello Wildcats, I have Ings, here we go, who is a budget replacement for him? So I'll kind of kick off by saying I'm looking at Wilson as one of my options, and he's fairly budget. I know that Brett and I both have history with Wilson. So I think that makes me a little nervous about him. But did consider Bamford for a little bit as well. I'll tell you what it is. I really thought that if I went down to a Bamford or a Wilson and went from Sace to, say, Zuma or something, that I might have the extra cash to put Foden up to KDB in the next few weeks. Unfortunately, I'm still nowhere near. So now I'm wondering whether or not I should be going so budget up front, and maybe I should be looking at a Martial or a Werner in that spot, and maybe just going for Chilwell instead on the more attacking threat, because I've actually got more cash than I thought I would, seeing as I now can't do that KDB move. But the budget options, yeah, for me it's Wilson and Bamford, but I don't know what the lads think. I know there's a couple of others out there as well. As I just hear that Pepe has scored for Arsenal. Wowzers.
He
Get
still
in
exists.
the Gunners. Anyway, yeah. Any other budget forwards you guys would like to throw in the hat?
I mean, it's not one I've considered too much. I'm just tempted to try and keep the Southampton link. If Ings is gone, then perhaps Che Adams can really start ramping home, because he'll become the main striker in my eyes with Ings gone until at least December. The only other one I've really considered and thought about and been tempted by is Mikel Antonio. Granted, he's injured at the moment, but if it's just a short-term thing, maybe he can get off the bench next week, or even if he's just injured for next week and comes back after international break. My theory is that at the moment he's one of the hottest. He's one of the hottest properties in the Premier League. When he's on form, and he has been in certain points in this season, he's unplayable, and he's the reason West Ham have done so well.
I've heard they're not going to risk him for the game this weekend.
It wouldn't
after
surprise
the
me
international break, he could be fine.
It's a shame he misses the
what's
Fulham
tempting.
fixture. That is a shame.
He would have been straight in for that fixture.
Yeah.
100%. But then the other thing, Wilson's interesting, and Wilson isn't owned. Calvert-Lewin's being talked about. Oh, Calvert-Lewin this, Calvert-Lewin that. He's the best player since Thierry Henry. He's better than Pele. But Wilson's got one more point so far.
What have you
than
been reading?
Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Wilson's got one more point than Calvert-Lewin.
Mm-hmm.
So Calvert-Lewin is now all of a sudden, he's better than Harry Kane. He's one of England's best strikers. All of a sudden, hold on a minute. What about Callum Wilson, who's not even been talked about?
Mm-hmm.
He's now 1 point above. Where does that put Wilson? Is Wilson such a trap player anymore?
Yeah, I think he's got returns in 4 of the last 5 game weeks now, Wilson, a lot
And
of
that, in a way,
consistency there.
though, that worries me. Like, although it's consistent, I just feel like it's gonna at some point it'll have to drop off.
Yeah.
But then
What
I'm
about
like,
Calvert-Lewin then?
well, exactly. But the other part of me says, well, like with these budget strikers doing so well, I'm just like, I could put the money in Martial and I could put the money in Werner, but if I can get somewhere near the same output from somebody like a Wilson or a Bamford, why am I spending that extra cash? That's the bit I'm kind of struggling with myself with.
It's so easy to get drawn in by the big explosive options, isn't it? But you're right. If the cheaper ones can tick along and score roughly the same as them,
and maybe give me other options elsewhere from the extra cash, because my defense is so bad. And I can't live on Phil Foden for much longer. I mean, he's such a rotation risk. I mean, people are already saying he won't start this week because he played a full 90 midweek.
I didn't expect him to get benched twice in a row. That was a shock to me.
That's like
his numbers are still good though.
I know.
Yeah.
I was happy to accept him getting benched here and there, but to see him twice in a row straight away, that's like, oh no, it's a problem now. I don't know if he'll play this Liverpool game either, so that is a concern.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Any others we want to?
Bamford for me, I just feel like I'm really sold on Bamford at the moment. Not something I expected to say at the start of this season. You know, when I saw when Bamford scored once or twice in the opening game week, and you know, naturally in game week 1, a lot of the people who are new to the game, they're just buying everyone that scores, and everyone transferred Bamford in. And I thought, you do that, that's fine. You carry on. Bring in Bamford. He's not going to score that. And all of a sudden now, every game I watch Leeds and him, for his price of 6 million, like he had 2 amazing chances again last week. So unfortunate to blank. And if he keeps getting those chances, you know, that's what I want from a player. So yeah, for 6 million, like I'm probably going to wildcard in the international break, and I feel like he's one that I'll just leave there at the moment. The way Leeds are playing, he's just going to keep getting chances. And their fixtures in a couple of game weeks' time, their fixtures turn as well. And he looks like a good long-term option. So I'm pretty sold on Bamford personally.
See, it's that for me. It's the way Leeds play compared to, say, the way Newcastle play.
Yeah.
Do I see Leeds being able to score plenty of goals throughout the entire season? At the moment, yeah, I do. With Newcastle, it's all about kind of their opponent. If their opponent lets the speed of some of their attackers affect them and Newcastle can get counter-attacks, then Callum Wilson's a good choice. But I just feel like every single game Bamford could score and Leeds could score a lot of goals. So for me,
his underlying numbers too. His underlying numbers are there. And I've just been so impressed with Leeds and him. And I feel like the way they play, a bit like when Wolves first came up and Jimenez, and you know they were all so cheap and they were so like impressive. I feel like I need one of the Leeds players because they're such cheap options and they're just so attacking. Yeah.
Now I want to look to see how much that would give me. Okay, so the second question from RP is Ziyech worth it? What do we think, guys?
I mean, it's early days still. Like, don't get me wrong, I have been impressed with his performances, but he's only just come into the side. I still want to see a bit more from the whole Chelsea team, and I'm still not 100% sure Lampard has chosen his system and his starting 11. Now, I was impressed with what they did against Burnley, so he is now on my radar for definite, and definitely looks like a quality player who is willing to shoot often. But I'm just not sold just yet, to be honest.
That move would give me 10.2. It's not quite enough for KDB, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Chelsea look like they are really starting to turn it around. For me, I said I did a Chelsea piece for Fantasy Football Scout, and for me, it's just been added to my watch list. I'm not sure I want to kind of jump straight in yet, but that's kind of how I feel about him. He's, you know, on the radar sort of thing. Anyone else got anything to say on Ziyech?
No, not really. He's not. How many games he started? 1 in the Premier League?
The issue I have is that game, the one in the Premier League, one shot, it was on target, it was a goal.
Was it? I haven't even seen the goal, honestly. So what was the goal like from Ziyech?
It was from outside the box. It wasn't in a corner, but it was a low-driven shot from outside the box, and I think the keeper was wrong-footed. And he had one big chance created, which created an assist. So his numbers weren't amazing.
What type of assist was it, Jay? Was it from a corner? Was it like just a corner to Zuma?
I can't remember, to be fair. I did see it, and I do think I remember thinking, okay, that's what I expected from Ziyech.
Mount took the corner. I remember now. Mount took the corner for Zuma.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember, to be fair.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that it was a good assist, but I can't remember exactly what happened.
Yeah, well, he's a player that I liked, you know, before he came to the Premier League.
Yeah.
He always looked like a quality player. And because Chelsea are like scoring so many goals at the moment, they seem to be scoring like 3 or 4, you know, quite frequently now. So that interests me for sure. I don't know. Is he just like fully fit now? Is he going to start every game? That's the only thing that worries me.
Well, I feel like Chelsea are stronger with him in their side, and I also feel like it can benefit Chilwell because just the way that Chilwell can now overlap and come in when Ziyech on the right will cross it in. Potentially Chilwell could be the one at the back post, a bit like March was for Brighton in the game against like Man United. So I am very interested in Ziyech, but just I need more. I can't go off of the one game, especially as the one game, even though we got a goal and assist, was a bit outside of that, underwhelming for me.
And Iheanacho with a brace, 3-0 to Leicester.
If I start considering Iheanacho in 2020, I know this year's gone mad.
It is pretty bonkers, Jay. Maybe you ought to get Iheanacho in. Give the rest of us a chance to catch up.
Oh, I see what it is. You don't want me to get Bamford. You want me to go Iheanacho. Okay.
You know what I'm like. I'll probably end up going Wilson, and I'll probably be on the stream next week. I know.
Because if memory serves me correctly, am I not the one that has the best record with Wilson? I think I have the best record with Wilson.
I mean, he's always done all right for me, but there's always just that we always just have that one blip where
Maybe I'm just the one that complains about it, though.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Although Brett has a terrible time with Wilson. So yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry, my arm's going to sleep. Pupster. Okay, nuclear atoms. Say hello. Hello to everybody. My arm's going to sleep. Says it's a quick. He's put a picture on Twitter. So maybe one of us can go and answer him more completely afterwards. But essentially, he's fed up of owning Pulisic, and he's asking should he replace him with Ziyech or Jota. So do anyone have any kind of
bring it up quickly, because
I think from those two, I look, Jota is an exciting prospect, because if he does get starts now, which he may very well do with his performances, and Firmino hasn't been that great this season so far. Obviously, it's an exciting prospect to get Jota at 6.4, 6.5. I still just worry that if I brought in him for Foden, I'd have the same issue, never knowing if he starts or not. I think for that reason, I still prefer Ziyech over Jota for now, because I think he's a little bit more sure of starts. But
you want me to read out his side?
Yeah, go on, mate.
So he's got two potential plans. He's basically brought in Ziyech in one screenshot and Jota in the other. Okay. But the midfield that he has already has Grealish, Salah, Fernandes and Son.
Okay.
Because I would have go Grealish, but he's already got Grealish, so...
Yes.
What are you saying?
I mean, yeah, it's hard. Away to Man City as well for Jota this week. I know we've got to consider the longer term, so it's a tough one. I just think I'd go Ziyech personally from those two.
I mean, his defence looks
a
lot
like
strong.
Chelsea's next two games particularly. I do like the Sheffield United and Newcastle fixtures. Yeah, and maybe that gives a bit of time to see if Jota does, keep bedding in and get starts. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's safer to go Ziyech just because I can't see Ziyech being dropped. Whereas Jota, despite the fact he's been doing amazing when he has come on, there's always a chance he just won't play. I mean, I'm hoping he's done enough to start getting enough starts so I start to think, okay, Jota's a very good option, especially if you've got a good run of Liverpool fixtures. His defence does look a lot better with Jota because of the money he's managed to save. It means he can bring in Bellerin and Castan alongside Cancelo, and then Chilwell and Lamptey. So with Ziyech, he's got Walker-Peters and Dallas instead. But the thing is, I don't think Dallas and Walker-Peters are necessarily that weak for £4.5 million defenders. So I'd probably lean towards Ziyech still.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They cancel the doc now.
If Jota does score against Man City, he will be a huge bandwagon after the international break. If he starts and scores against Man City, yeah, I can see Jota being the most transferred in.
The thing is, Jota as a bench option is decent because there's always the chance that he will do something. The form he's in right now. Like, I always liked him at Wolves, and now that he's in a Liverpool side, I'm just like, if he could just be a guaranteed starter, I'd put him in and forget about him for the rest of the season.
I'm so impressed with how he has started and settled into Liverpool, because that's not an easy team to break into. And I was always a fan of Jota, but I didn't expect him to have this kind of impact.
Mm.
You know, and that hat-trick he scored in midweek was like amazing hat-trick. You know, every touch and finish was so good. So yeah, the confidence is so high. It's always good to get the form players in, and he certainly surprised me.
I think it must be something to do with the fact
Would you
that...
go with Ziyech? Would you? Are you going to go Ziyech? What do you think? Doesn't seem interesting.
I think the thing with Jota is, it's just, sides are going to be so focused on Salah and Mane. The amount of space Jota's probably getting compared to what he would have been getting at Wolves, probably just relishing it at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. We did a kind of, we got him in the dream team earlier, and we had a little kind of discussion about him then. And I think, I've seen quotes where Klopp isn't like hugely convinced yet on kind of making him like first starter.
What's he
Bobby.
got to do?
Well, I think it's more
It's more of a system thing, a balance thing.
A balance thing. And I think like what I was saying earlier is that, like, whilst Bobby doesn't provide the goals, he gets Mane and he gets Salah, and he's the provider for a lot of those, like, creating a lot of those goals. Even if he doesn't directly assist them, he's kind of like making the space for them. Those sorts of things. So he just kind of gets it, and it's worked for them for that way for so long. Whereas Jota comes in and he kind of just takes it by the scruff of the neck, and it's like, I got the ball, I'm going forward, I'm going to score. And that's like, to some extent, like Liverpool like miss that, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily play to Mane and Salah's strength. So I think like it's going to be a case of they will just be rotated, because it will depend on the game. It feels almost a bit Arteta-like for me in the way he plays the Arsenal team. Is he just playing them every week, like dependent on the games, rather than necessarily, who did fantastic the game week before. And I think it'll be very much the same with Bobby and Jota. I think Klopp would just line up how he feels will be best for that particular matchup. But that's kind of what I feel. Everyone went quiet, so I feel like I might have just talked a load of rubbish.
No, I agree with you, but the thing is, and it might be the way I've watched the Liverpool games, Firmino's been a lot less noticeable to me than he has been previous seasons. Like, I've always enjoyed watching Firmino as a player, but just have always thought, is he really worth it in FPL like standards? But I'm not really noticing Firmino this season. Almost a bit like I don't really notice Trent. And then of course, as soon as I consider selling him, he has a game where he looks like he can get assists, and then I keep him for a little bit
I think
longer.
Because he's not scoring and he's not an FPL asset, we barely pay any attention to him anyway.
I'm used to watching thinking, oh, that was a good pass, or that was a good flick on, or, okay, he started that move. I don't think I've seen any moments where I'm like, okay, that goal was because of Firmino, even if he didn't get any points. I don't remember any goals like that currently.
I just don't think Klopp's the type of person to now turn around and say to Firmino, that's it, you're out. Jota, that's your spot. I just don't see that happening. So from an FPL perspective, I just still see them being rotated.
Oh yeah, I still definitely see them being rotated, but I think Firmino has to start doing something eventually.
No, yeah. Like, the way I would put it earlier was that at the moment, if you could afford Jota as your fifth midfielder, he's almost perfect for that. But he's an expensive fifth midfielder. That's the only problem.
And he's a risk. Risk like Ferran Torres is a risk.
Yeah. But if, like, for me, for instance, where you've got, say, a Foden, and I've got Anguissa as my backup option, I'd prefer somebody like Jota who's going to come off the bench 10 minutes, get me a goal, as my backup option than Anguissa with his 2-minute cameo.
Would you prefer Jota or Foden Seeing as they're both risks.
This is my issue now because I've got money to sell Foden for Jota, but they're both playing each other and they're both rotating. I just feel like I'm just
this week I wouldn't make any move, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying after this week, would you prefer Jota or Foden?
I'm looking to get off both of them to be to get off Foden. So I'm not sure I'd be moving to a Jota, not unless not unless he did start this weekend, for instance, and the Klopp has been talking out of his backside. But I think I'd need to see him starting more regularly, and at which point I still think at like 7-2, whatever, he'll still be a bargain at that price if he starts playing regularly. So for me, I'd rather move to somebody more nailed on in that spot. I'm just not entirely sure who that is yet.
If I can persevere with Foden through this Liverpool and Tottenham game, I really still have high hopes for him in that run with such good fixtures, because he's such a cheap way into Man City's team, and he's bound to get some starts in, Burnley at home and Fulham at home, and there's some lovely games coming up for Foden. My gut still says if I stick with him, he will reward me, but it is hard to persevere when he's getting 1 point off the bench twice in a row and maybe not starting against Liverpool. So yeah, I could move to Jota this week, but I just feel like I'm giving myself another headache. And if I had money to bring in Ziyech now, I would lean more to that, to be honest, because at least I know with him he's almost certainly going to start.
Not Pepe.
Apparently Willock just scored.
Super goal apparently.
Wow. Okay.
According to Ray.
Cool. Okay, so talking of guests we've had on the show, General G, Glenn Knightley says, really scared of not owning any Chelsea assets this week. Should I save my transfer for international break or get a Chelsea player? Kurt, what do you think?
Should he save his transfer or get a Chelsea player?
Yeah.
Also, I think you've just made Jay's life hell. Now's the time, Jay, to try and drag the cameras.
Yes.
Try and drag the cameras. See if you can do that, because my Zoom can do it.
What's that?
Your camera went off, so you've changed.
No, it didn't go off. It didn't go off.
Well, you've moved. You've definitely moved.
Oh, sorry.
What do you press when you drag? Do you just the whole
photo? The mouse and hold.
Do we carry on with the convo whilst Jay's
carry on the convo?
Yeah, so just to check, it was hold his transfer or transfer in someone from Chelsea.
We got his team name at all? Did he send his team, or did he just say should I hold my transfer?
Okay. Neither. Why would you transfer someone in from Chelsea? Has he got a person in mind? If you haven't got Chilwell, that's the only one I'd really consider. If it's not Chilwell,
well, he's just saying that Chelsea assets are worrying him. So should he get them in?
I don't think so yet. There's not really a fixture list that provides a decent looking return for any of them, and it's so spread out with Chelsea. They're very good on the attack, but if you're going past the defence, Chilwell's a safe bet because you get the clean sheet points, and he's a bit of an Alonso, likes to get forwards. Apart from that, though, you look at their attacking assets, they are so spread out with returns. I don't think I could consider them. The fact that they're still rotating Werner and Tammy bloody Abraham says it all. But you look at the midfielders, Jorginho's
it's quite a hectic schedule, to be fair.
But you look at the attacking returns for Chelsea. Werner's got 36. Joint highest with him is Jorginho, who's only on penalties. That's the only way he gets his points. 3 goals and 2 assists. He hasn't even played in one of the games. Came on for 4 minutes in another one. But just about says it all. I'd only be looking at Chilwell. Anywhere else is an absolute banana skin of a transfer.
I really hope that Chilwell rewards owners in the next 2 weeks, because he just looks like such a great option at the moment. So I really hope he brings home the points,
I've kind of been leaning more towards Zuma, to be honest, just because his stats have been slightly better. And he's cheaper. But I know what you're saying, though. When I everything's saying for me to go to Zuma, but when I watch Chilwell play, it's like, whoa, that guy looks so scary if you don't own him. Do you know what I mean? Like you feel like as the
Sure.
defender, like if
Yeah.
somebody just puts in one of those, one of those goals that he's crossing in for or something, then that's massive points. So
Definitely, yeah. He's since his debut in game week 4, he's top for chances created amongst defenders, 2 more than Robertson, which is pretty impressive. And highest successful crosses as well. And unlucky really to have another assist for Giroud ruled out for offside last week as well. So yeah, I'm hoping for another big score from him. At home to Sheffield United this week, they're the lowest scorers in the league, 3 goals in 7 games for Sheffield United. So a great chance of a clean sheet there. And with his stats, a good chance of attacking returns as well. And you combine those two, you could be looking at a 15-pointer. But he'll probably get 2. I just hope that I hope he returns what the stats are suggesting, really. Newcastle after that as well. So he looks a really good option for those 2. But I can understand why Glenn wants to save his transfer, because I think he's used his wild card already. And obviously it's lovely to go into the international break with 2 free transfers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see his team. So, if there's no particular bad players in your team, then you're happy with the 11. I don't think you have to shoehorn them in this week. Sheffield United can do a job. They can keep it tight. I haven't got any Chelsea attackers myself, bar Grealish, so I kind of hope they do. So yeah, I think Chilwell is a good transfer in this week, and of course, if you want to get Ziyech, looks like a good option too. But I think you can probably survive without them. I wouldn't be too scared. They're not particularly highly owned, except for Chilwell, I don't think. Maybe around 15-20% for Werner. So yeah, if you want to save the transfer, I think you'll be okay. And longer term, their fixtures aren't the greatest anyway. It's only these next 2 that look particularly good, and then it gets a bit tougher.
Yeah. Okay.
Chilwell, just for the record, much underlying stats wise, I think Chilwell Zuma's been fortunate in my eyes. He's had 1 big chance, and his expected goals and expected assists is significantly lower than Chilwell's.
I don't know, but even watching him last night, Zuma, like when he goes up for those set pieces, he really should have scored again last night. He gets. It's just.
But
for me,
it's
good
like
set piece specialists now.
It's like Van Dijk at Liverpool versus, say, Robertson. For me, I know which one I'd prefer. I'd always go with the wing back.
Yeah, no, I'm usually exactly the same.
Maybe Chilwell, you guys now, or
I haven't yet. I've still got Trent.
Oh, me too. Actually, yeah, me too. I got both. Yeah.
And I want 2 transfers to the international break. So
yeah,
with the issues I have, I'm not sure Trent will be going, even though it is Man City.
Yeah. And there's me taking a -4. Oh, there we are.
I'm just trying to stop taking so many -4s. I've only taken 2 or 3, but I just feel like I need to slow down a bit, because when it doesn't work, I'm just like, why did I take a -4 for? Or when I have an average game week and I've taken a -4, I feel that 4 points a bit more.
Yeah, it's just like, for me, it's like, well, I'll go deal with the Ings thing. I think it's because I just don't really have much of a bench, and I haven't done all this season, so it just feels like...
There's no pandemic.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Rub it in. So yeah, I feel like I don't really have anyone to come in for the players that are getting injured. Or
for the
not
record,
do very
I have
well,
the exact same 2 players
rotated.
not start on Friday. Well, I felt your pain.
Yeah, but then you're not going to do anything about it.
I might change one of them.
You have Taylor, don't you, instead of Dunn?
Yes.
Whereas I have Dunn. So
which I think I'm still getting the blame for.
Who hasn't started, Sace, who hasn't started, and Mitchell, who hasn't started. So right now I have 2 players, and Lamberty seems to be a yellow since I don't know when. Like, I'm pretty sure that kid just lives on a yellow flag.
He seems to perform better for me when he's on a yellow.
Yeah,
so
well,
he can stay
either way, whatever, but still, it doesn't look good for me. And then, yes, Ings with an orange and an Anguissa who, I mean, even against West Brom couldn't do something. So it's not great. It's really not great at the minute. Anyone got a spare wild card they can lend me? Okay. FPL Stray says, would he would like to know, should we really be looking to get rid of Spurs assets due to the difficult fixtures coming up? So, Kurt, you have Son, right? Are you looking to get rid of them ahead of their difficult fixture turn?
No.
Mm-hmm. Is it
Straight
just
to the
Son
point.
you've got, or have you got like?
Well, I mean, it's like, would you say if you owned Aguero or Man City have got a couple of tough fixtures, I might not play Aguero. Would anyone to hell? It's a ridiculous question. We forget that, granted, he's a bit of a dinosaur, I still think, but Spurs are managed by a top-class manager. I mean, I don't want to sound blunt, but it's a ridiculous question. So, of course not. They're my star players. Son got in the last 3 game weeks has got me about 50 points, I think, with the 2 captain's armbands on him. Or the 3 captain's armbands, sorry.
Yeah.
Spurs are still a quality side. We're acting as if Spurs are, oh, you know what? Spurs are doing well, but their predicted finish is 18th. So, they're playing well ahead of where they should be. They're finally playing well. This is a Spurs side that should have been up there years ago. Keeps on giving us little hints. Oh, are we? No, we're going to go down. But no, I think it's an awful question. Of course, I'm going to keep him.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I'm always a form person over fixtures, as you guys know. So if I can marry the two together, then fantastic. But for me, it's always about the form. And I do have both. I have Kane and Son. And yes, it is tempting to sell one of them, especially with City's run about to turn. And I am very worried about KDB, as you know, just been during the stream trying to shoehorn him in. But that would be my only way, I think, would be selling one of Son or Kane at the moment to get him in. And I know the fixtures are difficult, but I just can't look at that team at the moment and not see them still nabbing something in those games the way, the league is at the moment. So I think it'll be, for me, knowing the amount of fires that I have to put out, I'll probably end up keeping them at least, 1, 2 of those difficult games and letting me get a look at how they're going to do in those matches before moving them on, and whilst I put out some of the fires, should they not perform very well in those matches, then I can reconsider. But I'm not in a desperate kind of panic. I don't look at those fixtures and think, oh God, that's it. Now I have to get off of these players. In fact, I'm kind of hoping everyone does get off of these players and they continue to do well. But I kind of agree with Kurt. Not really on the best manager thing, but we'll move on from that. Brett, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit different to you two. I completely agree with what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. But with me, I always because I'm having such a bad season, I always look for opportunities to try and shoot up the rankings, and because they're both so heavily owned and because their fixtures do turn for the, pretty bad after West Brom, to me, I do see an opportunity there. It's not a guaranteed win to get rid of them and go for differentials, but there's a chance to bet against them, Man City, Chelsea away, Arsenal, Palace away, Liverpool away, Leicester, Wolves away. There's 7 game weeks there where I'm probably not going to captain Kane. So because I've got Son quite cheap and he's gone up quite a bit, and I always love Son too. So he's more affordable. Like I might keep him on the wild card. I forgot to mention I've got the wild card. So next week, when I probably
just
wild
drop
card,
that in there. Forgot to mention, guys.
No, but this changes. This is why it's in my mind, because
changes everything, guys. I'm going to beat you all. I've got a wild card.
He can change his whole side and not worry about hits and
hell
yes,
yeah.
I can basically use the funds from Kane. And now Spurs are on fire and Man City aren't, but I'm having a terrible season. So if I've got to put my money on Man City being differentials with Burnley at home, Fulham at home, West Brom at home, it's not a bad gamble to take. Let's put it that way. It could massively pay off because yeah, their fixtures are so good. So by dropping Kane, which I'm almost certainly going to do on the wild card, Son's still questionable. You know, I'm looking at like Vardy and De Bruyne and maybe Sterling. And yeah, because I've got the chance to really overhaul my squad, they would be the kind of make weights, you know, the players to drop with their bad fixtures. Of course, it's a massive risk because they're so heavily owned.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's ever a time to take the gamble, it would be next week because their fixtures do turn, you know.
Jay.
I'm somewhere in the middle of all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Because sit on the fence time. Well, look, the reason that I'm not probably going to jump off is because I have fires to put out elsewhere, and they've been performing. So this season, I want to always focus my moves on fixing the parts of my side that I think need fixing, and not get lured to new toys, even though the toys I've currently got are working fine. So I don't want to transfer out Son and Kane when I have a defence that's in absolute shatters.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, do I need a double Spurs attack when they have these fixtures? When I could bring in someone like Sterling or KDB that could have a great run right now? Because I'm not, like Brett said, I'm not going to captain these two in these fixtures. So, do I need two of them? Yes, they might still carry on their great run. But
it's just who do you drop out of Kane or Son at the moment? They're both so good that it's like which one of those do you?
Bring in Moses Sissoko.
I would get rid of Kane myself personally.
Yeah.
Really, even though he's just tapping them away for fun at the moment. I mean, he scored again tonight.
What we've seen from Kane is when needed, he drops deep to play through the likes of Son. When these fixtures get more difficult and there's space behind, is Kane going to do what he did against Southampton?
I don't think that has been the case though since they bought in what's his face from Southampton. That's the one, Højbjerg. I don't think he has done that anywhere near.
Kane's not dropping deep to defend. Kane's dropping deep to create because they haven't got Eriksen anymore.
So if that's Kane dropping deep to create and he's getting his
he'll
goals
still
and
get
assists.
Yeah, but I think Son being a midfielder, goals get more points, and Kane dropping deeper.
So Kane in the big games falling over for a penalty, not interested.
Well, every top player is going to fall over.
It's the price.
I see more room to bring in a striker around Kane's price, say a Vardy, or if I wanted to stick with Werner, or drop to strikers that are doing well. Whereas in midfield now,
Aguero.
I feel like
hello.
I feel in midfield, Son is one of my best
back in
players.
training.
Jesus, I'm interested in.
Gabriel Jesus as well. Like what you've all said is like I can understand what every one of you has said, and having the wild card does change things a bit for me. I think I'm in a bit of a different situation because it does that funds from Kane allows me to really build a squad for the future. If I didn't have a wild card, then of course, you know, like Jay said, I'd have fires of my own. So why would I get rid of two of the best players in the game right now? But this is like my opportunity to try. By going without Spurs, it wouldn't be because I don't think they're great options. It just seems like a good time with Man City's fixtures turning to try and do something a bit different, you know? So like Jay said, I mean, like game week 10, Leicester at home to Fulham, I like Vardy as a captain option there, maybe, you know, I'm looking at these differentials. Man City with Jesus instead of Kane, you know, could captain Jesus as a differential.
Yeah, I did think about Jesus this week, but I'm just not sure
Did
he's
you
going to
dream
go.
about him?
No.
Well, I'm not interested.
I've had no
interested.
dreams on
Okay.
players recently. Just saying, you know.
To be fair, you're slacking.
I haven't been doing much sleeping at the moment, to be honest. I've been watching a lot of the
Oh,
American
all right.
elections.
Oh, I can't know about that.
Why is everyone so fascinated with the American elections? I don't live in
Because
America.
It affects the world, unfortunately. If that orange donut gets in,
It does, but no
everyone
offence.
else's lives are going to go down.
I haven't liked any of the possibilities after Barack Obama anyway. But
yeah. Either way, I just you know.
I do like his
current
dance.
affairs
So
and
Trump's
find it
dance is
interesting.
quite funny.
What? Give over. Come on now. There's only one man for dancing in there, Brett. Mustafa.
Who in him? Who's the dancer?
Mustafa. You showed
Oh
me the
yes, of
video.
course. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Brett was like, "Are you
Okay.
talking about my dancing or yours?"
Okay, Ray's in the chat. I've seen him. Our guest last week. Hi guys, I'm tempted to keep Kane and Son throughout the tougher fixtures. Is this viable mindset? As I feel FDR is not as integral this season from the fifth wildcat. So we pretty much covered that, Ray. But yeah, so bit of a mixed bag on that one, I'm afraid. Not really helped you out. Okay, so Migtavius says, Wednesday wasn't a great day. Too much of America was turning red, and the same for his FPL team. Both Ings and Havertz confirmed out for at least a couple of weeks. Ouch. And his initial thoughts moves were KDB and Wilson with 1.2 million in the bank. Any reasons why he shouldn't go for that? I don't see any reasons why you shouldn't go for that.
What was the transfer name? Sorry.
Ings and Havertz, who are both injured, for KDB and Wilson. I mean, I don't see
Solid
any reason
moves.
why you shouldn't
they are
just
very
do
solid
that.
moves.
Bamford.
Oh, yeah. Or the lads quite like Bamford.
Yeah.
Instead of Wilson, possibly. Kurt, anything else to weigh in?
Does he have Zaha?
Mm-hmm.
He does.
So
Yeah.
has he got
I'll allow that move then.
Has he got 1.2 million in the bank after that transfer?
No, I think that's with the for Havertz and Ings plus
Okay.
1.2.
I mean, Wilson's up there, one of the better scorers. Newcastle's fixtures aren't the best, but they aren't the worst. So whilst he's in form, strike while the iron's hot, but it seems good enough. If you're getting 200 players out for two mainstays and good-looking players, may as well. Why not?
Jay is having none of it.
Yeah,
Bamford.
with Wilson, I'm liking the fact, like, I'm looking at Wilson from game week 12. So West Brom at home, Leeds away,
Yeah.
Fulham at home.
Mm.
And Everton's
just feel
fixtures
like-
until game week 12 is good. So on the
Yeah.
wild card, I'm looking at like maybe Richarlison as a differential, or Calvert-Lewin, whoever winner has. And then after like 3 or 4 game weeks, then bring in Wilson. I'm quite liking that, actually, yeah.
I'm almost thinking, though, if I went now on Wilson, which, he has the couple of good fixtures and then a couple of difficult ones, but it's kind of almost getting in before, like you said, before that run of games. So he's like hopefully one less, to worry about down the line, considering I've got so many other worries.
And he is a player you just got to leave, just get him in. And if you're going to get Wilson, just leave him there for like 7 game weeks and see where it leaves you, because, like you say, if you get him in early, he'll have those good fixtures coming up, so a reason to keep, and he might even reward you in the upcoming fixtures.
See, I would prefer to not have them for those good fixtures, because I think Newcastle do better against sides they can counter against.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not against Bamford either. That's the thing, and I'm really not against Martial either, because they've got great fixtures, and he scored this week.
But name your form.
I'd like the Martial
No,
shout for game week
Man
9.
United don't have
West
form.
Brom at home, captaincy.
No, Man United doesn't, but Martial does.
Martial's been not playing in the Premier League.
No, but he's been playing in the Europa League, and he's looked fine in that. Like, even though United are doing rubbish, if they can get their
He's not
shizzle
looked as good as
together.
Rashford.
The only thing I like about United is their captaincy in game week 9 at home to West Brom. Because Man City are away to Spurs are against Man City, Liverpool and Leicester. So United at home to West Brom in next game week, is a like Fernandes, Rashford or Martial captain could pay dividends there,
Yeah. Oh God, I'm so undecided. I feel like there's probably going to be price rises tonight as well.
At longer
It's not
term
gonna
United,
help.
I'm still not. It's just that one fixture I really like, because the other teams have tough fixtures. Oh, actually, to be fair, Everton are away to Fulham though, so a DCL captaincy could be a shout for those.
Yeah.
Is Richarlison back for that?
That's why I was considering Jay.
Oh, okay.
That's why because he's back for that one. No one has him, and I'm like, he has a differential to DCL. Do I go with Richarlison?
Because I like
I
that
saw you
Everton
nod
side
your head,
so much more with Richarlison and Rodriguez.
I know.
See,
And I think
that's the thing.
That's a great fixture for Everton.
When you said to me earlier, Jay, Foden or Jota, I'm thinking if I'm going lower to a Wilson from Ings, then you know what? Like, I didn't want to get rid of J-Rod when I got rid of him. It was literally because of his Gingan Ghoulie Ghoulies. And now that hopefully they're fixed, I can get him back in again. So, I'd much rather somebody like that who's more nailed in my team with his fixed doodads, and let's just get some points,
Just feels like there's so many bloody good options this season, doesn't it? It's just like, I think I've thought of everyone. Then it's like, yeah, Rodriguez comes back, and I'm like, oh, damn, I want him as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's impossible this season.
Every time I've looked at my team, I prefer it. I like it better when J-Rod is in it, but I've only had the chance to have him in there once, and he didn't start the match, and then I think I got 1 assist from him, and then he went and got injured.
See,
so it's like,
what I've tried to do is, because there's so many good options, I've tried to not chase. Like, I know it's easy to say it, but not chase points. If someone does well that I don't own, but I'm still looking at my players, like Grealish, for instance. I brought in Grealish for 2 weeks. He didn't do what I expected from him. And I was like, it's fine. He still looks good in the games. Yes, there's other players that are looking good. Just wait for the points. Podence was another one. He still looked like he could get some points, so I just stuck with him. I'm trying not to keep moving players around because there are so many good options.
But that's it. Like with Foden, with Jota, I'm nervous that it kind of leaves you to wanting to hold on them, but then you're there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're kind of like, not
both
much
have been
happening.
returning though. I know they've not necessarily been nailed on, but both have been returning well.
And for their price as well, Foden.
That's
it's so
it,
frustrating with Foden because it is like, I'm playing with 10 men, but he is only 6.6 million, 6.5. And I honestly think, look, I might lose patience and sell him because I know what I'm like. But if I forgot about him and left him in for the next 10 game weeks, I still feel like over this run, he is going to.
Foden has done better than Podence, and I got rid of Foden for Podence.
Yeah.
And if I'd just stuck with Foden, I'd have more
maybe
points.
That's this. Maybe this is the whole Grealish thing all over again, like last week. Maybe it's because I've got him and he's not doing very well for me, whereas you don't have him. If you see what I mean, you're seeing his potential. That's why we're having this issue.
Well,
I do have to clear up that I did say earlier on about United. I said Europa. Sorry, that was a mistake. I did mean Champions League. So that was caught up on the chat.
No, I assumed you knew you meant Champions League.
I thought you just said Europe.
So I don't know. I can't remember whether I said Europe or Europa. Either way,
I think
know
you
it's
did
the
say
Champions
Europa,
League.
but
Okay.
I was just like, it doesn't matter. We know what you're talking about. But like Nuclear Atom says, I think patience is important this season.
Yeah,
because it's so easy to see so many options that you're like, I need that person, I need that person in. Which is why I'm focusing so much on, okay, which players are the problems? Let's fix that, instead of thinking, I need this player in. And I think Mark Southerns has said that's the way he's trying to play as well, is fix the problems, not go, I need that new shiny toy.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. It's just, like, I'm not...
Would you consider Foden a problem, though, Jay, if you had him?
No.
That's what I'm
Not right
saying. Like, do we consider him a problem with him not starting on a regular?
He's been returning points. Does everyone have a starting 11 that has been returning points? All of them. If you have, then I'd say look for someone else than Foden. But I've used transfers when I didn't necessarily have to use transfers because Foden was still getting game time and he was still scoring points.
If I went for Bamford and Zuma, I could turn Anguissa into J-Rod and still keep Foden. That's an interesting prospect. Anyway, sorry, that's my team. Okay, moving on. Okay, we have Abdullah. What do you think of Ryan and Say situation? Do you think it's a good time to get rid of both? And if so, who do we replace them with?
Well, I think Say
and who, sorry?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Okay.
So from what I've heard, Potter's going to rotate his goalkeepers, which isn't great. But there's every possibility that he might play the next game. So if you need to use a transfer somewhere else, then there's the potential for that. As far as Sice, again, I think maybe you could I haven't seen the press conferences yet. I don't know if the Wolves one is tomorrow, but there's every chance he will still play games. So I would wait first for press conferences, and then I think there are options to go from Ryan to someone else, McCarthy potentially. I think Martinez has risen in price considerably, so I'm not sure if you can get Martinez in. And then I think with Saiss, Kilman looks like he's coming to that side and is going to keep his place. So I'd say there's an easy switch for Saiss. And then you could maybe even go Semedo if you want, because I think Wolves defensively are still capable of getting clean sheets. So I think there's good options for you there. But I would definitely wait for press conferences before I made any moves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because the price changes and stuff like that. It's tough to know what to do. I would like to wait tomorrow.
See, I think you'd have such a more, less stressful life if you just didn't worry about the prices so much.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about prices at all. I'll make my moves on Friday or Saturday morning.
Yeah, and how much money you got in the bank?
In the bank?
Just how much money do you have?
All right, 1 second. I'll look
my squad value is horrendous.
So squad value is 102.2.
Let's compare. Come on. At what? How much?
102.2.
102.2. That's not bad.
How do you find out your squad value?
If you go to pick team and then scroll down to transfers and finance, I've got nothing in the bank, but I've got 102.2.
I've got
102.6.
I've got exactly
0.3 in the bank.
102.6. Wow, nice.
0.3 in the bank as well.
Oof. You guys.
Have you paid attention, Kurt, to value? Price rises?
A little bit.
Oh no, to be fair, he goes quite quickly though in the week.
Kurt goes earlier than I do.
Yeah, it goes early in the week.
Nuclear atoms, yes, I would make the same case for Jota. If he's scoring you points and you've got him in your side, there's probably moves you can make elsewhere.
102.2, same as you, Jay.
And I've had a lot less stress about.
Yeah, but you've also had a heck of a lot better team than me since the beginning, or at least since our wild card.
So to replace Saiss, there's two. I mean, other than the obvious, we've talked about Zuma and Chilwell. On my wild card next week, there's two sort of 5 and a bit million defenders.
Is there a West Ham one in
there? Possibly. I wasn't going to mention those, but because they're cheaper, they might make it in the wild card too. One of them for sure, because their fixtures look great and they have shown quite good defensive solidity. It's Van Aanholt as a differential. I like Palace's next few fixtures. I do like the next few fixtures. So from game week 9, Burnley away, Newcastle at home, West Brom away. Some good chance for clean sheets there, and he does have goal threat. So as a bit of a differential, I quite like Van Aanholt. However, the one who's almost certainly going to be in my team, I'm going to go for a Man City defender, I think. And Cancelo is just impressing me every game.
I so wanted it to be a differential. Now okay, remind myself it's Twitter and it's us lot. I really want Cancelo as well.
Yeah, he's 1.5% owned. Nobody owns this guy really. Every game I watch him, if they didn't have Liverpool and Tottenham,
FPL Focus owns him.
Nice, good move. Yeah, I only brought Chilwell in. It was a tough call between the two, but because Chilwell's next three were good, Sheffield United, Newcastle, and that kind of thing.
I miscalculated.
Cancelo had Liverpool and Spurs, but. Yeah, I really like the look of Cancelo. I know he's a rotation risk, but if I'm playing my wild card and I have a 4.1 like a Mitchell, if Cancelo doesn't play, then I can always have Mitchell come in. Burnley at home, Fulham at home, West Brom at home, Newcastle at home. There's a lot of good fixtures there. Diaz is another consideration. He's a more boring pick than Cancelo, but he's a reliable starter. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing that leans me a little bit towards Diaz, because I know he's probably going to start, But I just Cancelo excites me as an option, because every time I've watched him in the last couple of game weeks, he's just quality, and always getting forward, really creative. So I would be tempted by Cancelo if I had Saiss. No.
Yeah. Sorry, I did miscalculate. I've got 103.2. that's a big difference.
That is a massive difference.
Money bags.
I had 101.9 squad value and then 1.3 in the bank.
See, my thing with the whole making the moves because of price rises and falls is I worry that will make me make moves that are all based on that. Well, not all based on that, but don't focus on my rank.
Yeah, no, to be fair, there's been a fair bit of that this season. For me, it's just that I know that I want to sell Sice this week.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of, I know it's probably going to be for one of Zuma or Chilwell, and Zuma's going up tonight, so I feel like I kind of need to make that, because I don't even like Wolves' fixtures really much beyond this game week. So even if he does continue to play, I don't really see many.
Interesting, because I like Wolves against anyone, defensively anyway. Apart from maybe, say, your Man City or Liverpool, I think Wolves are capable of clean sheets against any side in the league.
I don't think they're as solid as they were last season.
See,
without Doherty.
I think they're worse attacking without Doherty and Johnny. I think defensively,
I agree with.
I think defensively they're still Wolves. I just don't like them going forward as much.
But wouldn't I be better off then with a Kilman?
Yes.
With a lot less money than a Sace?
That's the move I'm considering, Kilman for Sace.
Yeah.
And then get, say, a Chilwell or a Zuma to replace someone else.
Yeah, well, I think because of the fixtures this week, I think I'd prefer to make that move and then turn a Dunn a week or so down the line into a Kilman, if you see what I mean. That's kind of, it's the same moves, it's just in a different, it's a different order, basically. But yes, I have also considered Cancelo as well, Brett. So I think that's a good shout, buddy. Okay, Focus says, if we could suggest one differential player to get in for Game Week 8, who would it be and why? A differential player.
Any West Ham player.
Yeah,
maybe not any West Ham player, but
any
Fornals, Bowen.
Yeah.
Not Jota then, seeing as you've built him up.
Not for Man City, no.
Well, he would be differential, wouldn't he?
He would definitely be differential, but I just feel like I was worried that West Ham would not look good without Antonio. But they still look like they have something about them, even without Antonio now. I mean, if you really wanted to go random differential, maybe Ben Rama comes on. But I think Fornals and Bowen are your safest bets as far as that West Ham Fulham game.
Yeah. I think we touched upon him earlier, didn't we, in our chat? Their Focus and the Dream Stream. I'd probably go for under as a uber differential.
See, I recommended him on my wildcard project video. Then afterwards, I looked at his minutes, and I don't know why I didn't see his minutes. He's
15 and 19, yeah. Well, he's an uber differential.
There's something about him that I really like.
Yeah.
So I recommend it because I just think he looks like a really good player, and I think he got an assist tonight, I think. And I just think he could bring some creativity, but yeah, off of the minutes, I'd be a bit worried about it.
Yeah. Any others want to pop in before I head on over to another one?
Yeah, I know we spoke already. I mean, 6.5% ownership, like Ziyech is a tempting differential, but he's still low owned, and it's a bit like Fernandes last season, where he had came in to the team, smashed it in like the first or second game week, and I was a bit like, I'm going to wait and see, and he just kept on delivering, and Ziyech could do the same, he could just kick on from here.
How much is he, Brett?
8 million. I think he went down to 7.9.
If I went Bamford, you see, I could also go for him.
Annoyingly, Ziyech he went down to 7.9 because he was injured and stuff, and then it got a few transfers in and went straight back up to 8 really quickly, a lot quicker than other people have risen.
Don't get started on there.
Even though he's only a 6.5% owned.
Oh God, yeah, I know.
It was almost like, we made a mistake lowering us, getting back up quickly. It felt like that. It was when some players were getting 500,000 transfers in and not going up, and then he got a few in, 100,000, and went up. It's just a bit strange that. But
I love your FPL towers, but it does seem like you have a meeting where you sit down and you just go, he should go up, he shouldn't. Wait, is it based on transfers? No. we think he should go up, and we don't think he
Yeah,
should.
it was like they didn't want to give us a bargain or something.
Yeah. Oh, people might bring him in. Let's make him more expensive.
I tell you what was frustrating as well, right? That Brighton goalkeeper who came in for Ryan,
Yeah.
he wasn't even in the game. And so they were like,
12.5
we'll
now.
put him at 4.5 then.
Yeah.
And really, he should be 4. He should be on the game at 4 already.
I reckon there should be a rule if he's never even in the game, when you bring him in, it should be the lowest price.
Yeah, like that's so annoying.
Unless it's a transfer in, of course. Or...
He's on a wild
Oh,
card.
in that case, I'm going to say
They
Gareth
would've
Bale transferred back 4.5 million.
Imagine.
Get in my team.
4.5 million player, he can
Yes,
sit on my bench, it's
please,
fine.
yeah. And Guaisa out, mate. Get in, Bale. Yeah. Okay, cool. Last one then. FPL JRF says, what are the most explosive assets in each position for the fixtures post international break? Wow.
I wish I'd seen that one earlier. So
Why?
I might be ready. I might have an answer.
I know, yeah. It's a bit of a loaded one,
missed
that
that
one, JRF.
I'm really hopeful of Man City in these fixtures.
Yeah.
I know, look, when you look at how many goals, they've scored 9 goals so far in like 7 games. You know, Spurs have scored 18. Like Man City aren't scoring goals. It's really strange. But you look at those fixtures, Burnley at home, Fulham at home, United away, West Brom at home, Southampton, Newcastle at home. Like, come on, they've got to turn over a few of these teams. You know, Fulham at home, West Brom at home. That's in 2 out of 3 game weeks they play Fulham and West Brom at home. They've got to be 4-5-0s, surely. You know, I can't see any different to those scorelines. So I'm really hopeful that De Bruyne, Sterling, maybe Jesus, these players will really come into our thinking, I think, from game week 10 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
They almost, even if they blank the one game, you think, oh my God, they got Fulham at home next. Like, you still get tempted, even though, you know what I mean? Because the
I'm
fixtures are just too good to ignore.
Absolutely terrified. Yeah, not looking forward to that at all.
I'm looking at the fixtures now from game week 9 onwards.
Yeah.
I would love to suggest any of the other teams that would say in the top like 10 for fixtures.
Arsenal?
But anyway.
Good
Right,
fixtures.
Newcastle are very good fixtures, but I just don't particularly fancy them against teams that are going to potentially not give them loads of space to counter-attack in. Man City I'm very hopeful of. Aston Villa, like Chelsea, Everton, they don't feel like they're teams that necessarily you're not already covering. Leicester, I would maybe say, okay, maybe if you've not got any Leicester players in, they have some decent fixtures. They have Fulham at home, they have Brighton Hove Albion at home, they have Sheffield United away. And then there's Man United that have very good fixtures, but right now I'm not sure what's going on at Man United, so I don't particularly want to shout them out. So it's literally Man City. Man City is the side that I'm looking at my team going, how can I not have a Man City player against Burnley, Fulham, West Brom? Like, there's those 3 fixtures in their next 6 from game of 9 onwards. I need a Man City player.
That's the thing, because even though both Manchester clubs aren't really, you know, firing on all cylinders yet, I still trust Man City to find the form than I do United. You know, there just seems to be that aura of negativity around United at the moment, and that, you know, a loss to Arsenal and you know, a shock defeat in the Champions League in midweek as well. So I like United for the West Brom game, but following that, I'm still not sure on them. But yeah, Man City I trust to start scoring goals. They've got to against these teams.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add to that, Kurt?
No. Che Adams maybe, but that's it.
Are you convinced on Che without Ings, Kurt? Because
No, it's just because he's a 5.8 million striker that would be getting that main sort of striker role now Ings has gone.
for another 0.2 you could have Bamford in the team. Is it 0.2? He is 6 mil now, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, and this may be where the stupidity comes in a bit, is that that's a risk that sort of, you know, gets my nether regions boiling a bit.
Don't you start with your Gingang Coolies.
I look at Bamford at 6 million. He's owned by 32.6% of people, and thinking, yeah, that'd be good. And it'd be another player though that I've got that's highly owned. I look at Che Adams at 2.9, and I think if he all of a sudden steps out from the shadows, improves. Now Ings has gone. Now he's the main striker. I'm battling. I'm getting points that other people aren't getting.
Yeah.
That's the thing that turns me on. And if Ward-Prowse, which I've been saying for years, has finally turned a corner, one of those
He's a
players that you
differential we could be
saying,
looking at.
oh well, if
Who's
he's
that, sorry?
brilliant, if he's doing
Ward-Prowse.
he's he's got the qualities.
Yeah.
He showed he's got the quality of the dead ball. For years, people have been saying he's our next dead ball specialist. You can tell he's absolutely phenomenal with them, but hasn't yet gone, become good with the actual quality that he has. My hope is that now he can become good, and if that's the case, you've got someone like that delivering balls in on a permanent playing, because the other thing was he wasn't playing the entire season. He was getting rested. He wasn't playing. He was getting dropped. Che Adams, it's a risk. It's a massive risk, but I play safe. I do pants. I make risks. I do pants. So I'd rather go out all guns blazing than think I'll go with the safe cushy option, and Bamford then gets me 6 points. So I've got too many players at the moment that are getting me 6 points. I'm getting good points, 57, but compared to
Problem
last
is,
year,
Che
it's
does
brilliant.
crap, Bamford does something, he's so highly owned, you're screwed. Like proper.
I'm ranked 2 million.
Yeah, well, I'm ranked
not got a high rank.
3.7.
Anyone thinking about Shane Long?
No.
He's good value.
No.
How much is he this
You
year?
crazy
Jay? Is he five?
fool.
Or...
I don't know. I'm
4.9
assuming
or
he's
something?
cheap. Like, I hope he's cheap.
At
Otherwise,
one year,
yeah.
I think he was 4.5.
I'd completely ignore me if he's not cheap. But 5.2,
I think a
I'd
year
go
or
Adams.
two, he
I'd
might
go
have been
Adams.
4.5.
Yeah, it's not a big enough difference.
The thing is, if I was ranked in the top, like, let's say, 500,000, top 100k, top something, to say, oh, that's quite good actually with this season, I would probably go with Bamford. But I'm ranked 2.1 million. Why would I? What am I playing safe for? I've basically become the Stoker,
Yeah, but there's
or
a
the
difference
I do
between.
get what you're saying.
There's a
I
difference
made that
between
mistake
ranked.
last year.
Like, what is Bamford's ownership?
Like
32.
30 odd.
32.
32 compared
There's
to
still
2.
70%, 30%, 70% of players don't own him.
Yeah, most of them are Twitter, I think,
98%
because they all
of
keep
people
saying
that
he's
don't
crap.
own
So
And
I
I'm
still-
sat there watching the casuals, like, own him, cocking him
Bamford goes
in
on a
every
run,
week.
then if Bamford continues his run, he's still going to help you climb rank at 30% own.
All I'm saying is I was tempted by Kilman straight away. I didn't transfer him in. And
I
now
was
he's
tempted
owned
by
quite a
Kilman
bit.
straight away. I wish
I'm tempted now by Che Adams. I don't want to be sitting here in a couple of weeks thinking, oh, you know what?
I've done it again.
I'd much rather look at Bamford score goals, Che Adams not, and think, look, I took a risk, it didn't pay off, than think I was going to do that risk. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'll save face. I'll take Bamford and watch Bamford get 6 points, maybe do all right, maybe get 2
I think
points.
maybe it's
Che
because
Adams
I owned
turn it
Che
in.
at the beginning that I feel
I can't believe I'm going to say
likely
this,
to go back.
but I feel like Bamford's a better finisher than Che. And I really didn't think I'd say that at the beginning of the season. Like, I look
Getting
at Bamford
tasty
play.
now, people.
Those goals
Getting
against
tasty.
Villa, those goals against Villa were good goals.
They were very good goals.
Like,
Very
good.
I did not think Bamford had that in him.
No.
I've got friends that are Leeds fans, and they literally start the season were like, yeah, Bamford's wasteful. Bamford's wasteful. Don't bother. And now they're like,
Yeah.
this isn't the Bamford we watched in the Championship. Is it because he's now got something to prove in the Premier League? Like, he's now stepped up a gear?
The
because he's
manager
like,
backs him as well.
Yeah.
The manager loves him.
Manager's
He's
backed
got
him.
good work rate.
He's now not playing, Sheffield Wednesday. And he's like, let's turn up. I could get into the England squad. I didn't say Sheffield. I said Sheffield.
Okay.
Yeah, Sky Sports
just-
did. Sky Sports put it Chelsea versus Sheffield.
Oh no.
Oh, never.
But the good thing is that we've still got our pride. Both United and Wednesday fans said, what on earth are you playing at? There's not one team, there's
Did they
two.
put that on a graphic or did they say it?
It was an advert or a graphic saying the
Ooh.
games for the weekend, and it
Ouch.
was Chelsea, Sheffield. Like, no, Sheffield
Um,
FC are the team that are about 9 divisions below us.
Sky Sports, we have a very good graphic artist on our panel here. Just letting
Oh,
you
well.
know, she wouldn't have made that
Oh,
mistake.
sorry, Nim.
I would not
Just
have
letting
done.
Sky Sports know.
Just letting them know.
Nim's available, yeah.
Yeah.
Just really quickly as well to end the question there about post-international break. From game week 9, which is after the international break, Villa's fixtures still Aston Villa's fixtures are still so good.
So Watkins.
Watkins is a consideration of mine for sure. I'm still more settled on Bamford, but maybe I'll have the two of them. Martinez as well in goal. I'm still going to go for him, I think, because I've got McCarthy.
Are you going to wild card over the international break?
Yes, almost certainly.
I was going to say it sounds pretty much like you're gearing up for that.
Yeah, so. I'm quite excited because there's a lot of fires, right? And I could use it this week. But basically, like we were talking about earlier, because I've got like Son and Kane.
I mean, you're almost there now. It's only one more day. You may, like it's not even till 4 o'clock tomorrow, so you may as well now.
I feel like my team isn't the best this week, so I could wildcard, but my wildcard next week would look a lot different to what it would this week. So it's almost like because I've got to plan longer term, and because I've got Kane and Son away to West Brom, I couldn't wildcard this week and take those out. No. So do you know what I mean? I tried to explain that in my video and everyone's saying, oh, how shit my team is. You've got a wildcard. Yeah.
Imagine something crazy happens over the international break and you've used your wildcard this week.
Exactly.
I think it just makes so much more sense
when
you're this close to the international break.
Kane, I've got Son, I've got McCarthy at home to Newcastle, I've got
How
Chilwell.
Can people say your team is rubbish after say like some
I've
of
got
those
Mitrovic
people.
And Barnes and all that. And
Mitrovic just got some points, didn't he?
Yeah, like 2 assists in the last match.
No bonus points for that as well.
Oh,
2 assists and a 2-0 win. No bonus. Come on.
Thank God for that. I got rid of him 2 weeks ago.
I was fuming when he didn't get bonus points for that. But yeah, Villa's fixtures too. I know they're highly owned. And I know they've conceded goals quite a bit in the last couple of games, which has shocked a lot of Martinez owners. But the fixtures are still so good for longer term. And McCarthy's fixtures turn after this week, so I think him to Martinez still looks like a good move.
Any of the other wildcats a little bit worried that Brett's on his wildcard and then he might start playing the players, buying the players that we've got and break them on us.
No, I'm still trying to stick to my fix for fires. Let's not assume anything.
Let's not just worry about Brett ruining everything.
You can't bring all the players home.
We love you, Brett. Oh, he's on a wildcard, man. He can. He really can look at your team and just copy it.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I'm just like this week, when you don't like your team, you just got to grind through the week.
Yeah.
And I tried to say that, like, I'm just going to grind through it. Whatever happens. And then, not a nice 2 weeks to use the wild card then.
I have to say, it's often when I look at my team and it looks very good, it ends up doing really shy. And then, vice versa is usually where, when I look at it and I go, oh God, it's going to be awful this week. It actually ends up doing all right.
I still remember looking at my team game week 1 after it had started. And thinking, why on earth have I gone Calvert-Lewin? What kind of idiot decision was that? So you never know in this game. You never know. And Joshua, if we get 35 likes, I'm not triple captain in TAA. You want to, no.
Okay, let's do a very quick round then, Brett, because we do have quite a big Jeffers Corner question this week.
Okay, so we'll do 45 seconds. Shall we on the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. Quick fire on bonfire. It's like almost as if it was written for us. Let's do it.
Fortunately, no bonfire graphics. I apologise. I didn't have as much time, and I messed it up.
Yeah, cool. And no manager of the month.
So I'll go around.
I had to go back to the old one, and I didn't have it set up on the old one. I apologise. It's still the same person as last week, though. Project Mayhem.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So on my screen, I've got Nim, Jay, Kurt in like a circle, so I'll go in that order, all right? So Nim, 45 seconds, it's from Mustafa Hassan. Cancelo or Kyle Walker? Walker is fixed, but Cancelo is more creative and can be a rotation risk when Mendy comes back. No idea when he's coming back. Sorry if I pronounce Cancelo or Cancelo wrong there. Walker's 0.5 more, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
I do like the Walker shout. He's just that more expensive.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you there. I do like the Walker shout as well, more nailed. I think you've got money, maybe go for the more nailed option. But yeah, Cancelo is definitely more creative, isn't he? And he's more exciting to own and things. Maybe don't worry too much about when Mendy's going to come back. But the way things are at the moment, they're also up in the air that, maybe you can switch him on for somebody else by then, with good fixtures and things. So, yeah, I mean, it really just depends on whether you've got a good bench to cover if you need to.
That's true, yeah. definitely. Thank you, Nim. Right, okay, so we'll go to Jay. How do I stop this bloody Right, there we go.
Modern
Okay.
technology.
So
You've got a new phone or something, because you've done this before.
I have. No, it's the same phone. I just yeah.
A
Phone's
brain
playing
melt.
games with you.
The
He had
app's
a,
changed,
he had
I
a
think,
brain
yeah.
melt.
Okay, so Mustafa again says Wilson, Bamford, or Werner. So it's like this. Do I get Werner since now he's on penalties? You've got Werner, Jay, haven't you?
You got
Yes, I
Werner.
have.
I have
I'm
considered
shocked,
him.
to be fair, that I've still got him, because, don't get me wrong, he always looks
You stuck
good.
to your fires. You stuck to your fires,
Yeah,
my
but
friend.
Werner was a fire for a while.
That's the
Wasn't.
result
He
now.
never
On
was.
penalties, and
But
Jorginho was
yeah,
on the
if
pitch
he's
too.
on penalties,
Confirmed.
that is good. And the
Huge.
reason I haven't got rid of him is he did return recently, and then he returned again. So I would still lean towards Bamford, though, because even Chelsea have played defensively against some opposition, against Man United, so on and so forth. Leeds just look like they're going to go all out against whoever they play. They don't care. They'll try and score 4 or 5 goals against Man City. I know
Yeah.
it didn't go that way, but they will still create chances. I really like Bamford, and even though Werner's been returning, I am looking at Bamford.
Would you switch Bamford for
Werner for
Werner
Bamford.
Bamford? Yeah.
There's the potential for that, yes.
Interesting.
Cool. Thank you, Jay. So this one's for Kurt from Nuclear Atoms. Do we think Zinchenko will... this is about Cancelo again. Well, I'll move, he's got another question here. Do we know if Antonio will be fit after the international break? I mean, do any of us know that? I can't just give that to Kurt if he's not sure.
I don't know, but the rumour has it that it's not serious. So I think he probably won't be risked this week, and then he'll be resting for the international break and be back the week after.
Cool. Okay. Sorry to skip your other question, Nuclear, but we kind of talked about Cancelo already. Cancelo. So next one then, Kurt. So from Jones Bloke 79. Hey man. He says, which teams could be going under the radar in terms of FPL point of view? Thinking of the next 5 game weeks.
Which teams could be going under the radar?
Yeah.
Well, Spurs, by the sound of things, if people are going to be transferring Spurs players out. I mean, the fact that Son and Kane have been on the form of their life, and people are saying, well, we might get Aguero in, who's done naff all and been injured the entire season. I mean, Spurs have to be considered under the radar. I mean, apart from Ings, any Southampton players have shown there could be differentials. Apart from that, though, I wouldn't say anyone else is going under the radar. The ownership is quite well spent, and if they've not got ownership in a player or a team, it's because that team isn't worth owning, personally.
Oh, okay.
Could I jump in just quickly and say
go on, Jay.
there's the potential for Leicester players in there? Apart from Justin and Vardy, ownership's not high. And Leicester haven't done bad considering all the injuries they've had.
Vardy is a strong, because he's still, for Vardy, he's only like 18% owned, isn't he?
19.7, so he's going up.
Differential captain there, you know.
Brett, were you not tempted at all to hold on to Barnes now that Vardy's back?
I wasn't, no. He's always like passes, like in terms of underlying stats, he always like does well, but Grealish's fixtures are just too good. I just think Grealish is a lot more involved and has a lot more chance of points, you know. So Barnes did okay, and I was happy for him to get a goal, like as a farewell. But I was always still pretty set on transferring him out. So we'll see. You know, I really like Barnes, but for his price, I think because he's the same price as Grealish, I just couldn't wait any longer, really. Yeah. So in a couple of game weeks' time, Leicester's fixtures turn as well. They've got like the likes of Fulham and that kind of thing. So Barnes could still be a good option. I'm just hoping that Grealish will score more than him, basically. So, yeah. Okay, so we'll go back to you, Nim. Joshua Newt says, my question is, who is the best 6 million or under midfielder? It was a very hot topic at the start of the season, but now not so much. Armstrong, St. Maximin, Saka, Souček, etc. Everyone was like talking about those, weren't they, at the start of the season? So it's a bit more of a ghost town now. So what do you think? 6 million under?
6 million or under? Well, there is under.
That's good. I like that.
What we got? Just literally having a look so I can refresh my memory.
Ward Prowse is 5.9.
Yeah, Ward
Not
Prowse,
bad.
I think. Yeah, I think forget about Jorginho now with the penalties being taken off of him. 4 nails, 6.4,
Yeah,
so he's a bit over though.
True.
Yeah, McGinn maybe, just kind of.
I think Barkley's around that price as well. I know he hasn't quite done as well as people thought when they got him in now, but
there was big hope for Trossard, wasn't there? But his kind of, I guess the whole kind of ego thing has probably put people off for it. But Trossard.
Oh.
I think there was a bunch because I think Ryan might have been dropped for the same reason. Like I don't know exactly what happened, but just quickly,
having a big ego playing for bloody Brighton. How pants must you be?
I mean, there's always Saka. Just saying.
Yeah, another assist tonight, I think, as well.
Yeah,
I do believe
Saka should have gone on loan to Aston Villa.
Shh, you. We're not having this conversation again. I think Ward Prowse. I just do at the moment. At that price, I mean, there's Costa for Leeds. I mean, he always looks quite, up there. But I'm not really.
Yeah, Jack Harrison as well, I suppose.
There's. Other than that, then it gets a little bit. I mean, Saint Maximum.
With
Trezeguet.
With Ward Prowse, I actually put him in the point predictor this week because with Ings out, he's probably on penalties as well.
Yeah.
At home to Newcastle this week, he's got free kicks, corners, penalties, lots of ways for him to get points. And I noticed that Newcastle have conceded the most shots from set pieces this season.
Oh, wow.
And we know that Ward Prowse is a set piece specialist. So I know we can't expect him to score amazing free kicks every week like he did last week. And obviously someone needs to win the free
Although
kicks.
his confidence will be high now after that.
Definitely. 2 big scores in the last 2 weeks. And he's a bit of a talisman. Will play every game on set pieces. So there's not much more you can ask for at 5.9, He's not an exciting option. And I'm not sure I would get him. But just for someone just to leave there in your team, he might take over well,
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's make this the last round then. We'll head on over to Jeff.
Cool. Okay, let me find a good one then. Can we do 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so
let Jay and Kurt answer them.
Awesome. We'll go around really quick with this one. James Mahoney says, Kane triple captain, yes or no? What do we think, everyone? Him?
Wow. Oh, okay.
Just like a yes or no.
No.
Jay?
No.
Kurt?
For this weekend, sorry.
Yeah, West Brom for Kane, triple captain.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You're going to do it then.
So
I thought he was going to go.
Do you have Kane?
No, I wait for double game weeks and then complain I didn't use it earlier in the season. That's
Like all of
I'm
us.
not getting rid of. I can't get rid of that one. It's tradition.
So, if you wanted to break tradition, which seems like a Kurt move, have you got Kane?
I have got Kane, yeah.
Do it.
just putting that thought in your head.
I'm going to say no, I think. I'm going to say no, only because...
Just put that thought in your head, Brett. I'm going to say no. Just to balance things up here.
I just think because so many people are going to captain him anyway,
Yeah.
It's not going to be like a huge... If he gets a 12-pointer, you're only going to get...
Sonny!
Yeah, wait for double game week. Like, look, he's a great option this week, but... Probably wait for the double, personally.
You won't have him then. You're selling him next week for a City asset.
Yeah, I'll probably wait for like a Liverpool double game week. Or City have got one coming up, haven't they? So I'll probably go for De Bruyne or something. Right. Last one then. So, okay. So Jay, I think this was from Nuclear Atom. So I haven't got the name. Sorry if this wasn't you. Oh, it's from Avish. Sorry, Avish, it's from him. Would you rather Rashford or Ziyech, Jay?
See, I was considering Rashford recently.
Yeah, it was a popular transfer in last week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
After that hat-trick in the Champions League.
He's looked good. I think a lot of that could be with the positivity around him anyway. Like, he's in the news a lot currently. So he was very much in the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
But it's just that Man United side, I don't feel comfortable going for anything at the moment. So I would go towards Ziyech just because I feel like Chelsea seem to be moving in the right direction. Maybe not as quickly as I wanted them to, but they seem to be finding their feet. And I'm just, with the whole news about Pochettino potentially talking to Man United, I don't want to go there at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big saving as well, isn't it? 1.5 million is quite a lot to save. So that's it.
Cool. Okay. Right. Jeffers Corners question. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Bit of a switch up in the format of the question tonight from Jeffers, apparently. So, consists of being asked our favourite something going forward. We will then have to provide an answer starting with J, N, K, or B for the start of our names. If we choose our letter to answer with, our own letter, we get 2 points. If we choose someone else's letter to answer with, we get 1 point. However, we can't just choose our letter to get the points, just to get answer with ending. It has to be a true answer, and it must be justified. Otherwise, if a person doesn't think we're doing this, we can be challenged by one of the other Wildcats. So, we need to make sure that the answer is justified. If we fail to convince the 3 other Wildcats that it's justified, then whoever challenges gets 2 points. And Jeff is going to keep track of all the scores, thankfully. So here goes. Our first BJKN question is your favourite city or town you have ever visited. So who wants to go first? Obviously, it has to start with a J, it has to start with an N, it has to start with a K, or it has to start with a B.
I'm going to throw a curveball in there.
Was it city or country?
You go first.
You want me to go? You want me to go first?
You always introduce them, so go on, you go first.
Wait, didn't I make her go first when I did it that one time?
Oh, so Nim's been first one time out of 2.5 years? No, Nim's going first now. Go on, Nim. Off you go.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Is it city or country?
I go on.
Challenge.
City or town it is, Brett.
Okay.
So I think I've said this loads and loads of times on this stream. I absolutely love Cornwall. So I'm gonna stick with my letter. And the first one that comes to the top of my head, a beautiful place that I visited lots of times, is Newquay. So there you go.
Why? I'm not challenging. Just why do you like it so much?
I love Cornwall as a place, and Newquay is like one of those just bustling beach towns, great fish and chips, right on the beach, good surfer shops, good cocktails. Is it lots of surfing men? Any other pluses? It's just really nice there. And I like it. There you go. I went first. Anyone want to challenge?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I don't really know Newquay or Wales at all.
It's not in Wales.
Oh, well, there you go. That just so sums up my knowledge on geography, doesn't it?
Cool. Okay, then. There we are. So who wants to go next?
Not me.
Okay, then.
Well volunteered, Jay.
No, not me.
No, you just volunteered yourself. Fair enough.
My answer isn't a city or a town, so I need an answer.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not a city or a town?
I was going to go for Nevada, but it's not a city or a town, is it?
It's a state.
Oh, it's a state, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case.
Because
then
I literally have
don't
nothing
know
for Jay.
answer.
There's nothing for Jay. There's no way I could convince any of you.
Yeah, to be
there
fair,
was
that's
somewhere with
quite a
J.
difficult letter, isn't it?
Yes, I feel like I'm going to struggle this whole competition.
With countries, like Jay would have been great for me.
Countries,
Yeah.
Jay, I could have
Well, there
managed
might be
something.
countries at some point. You never know.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
go on then, Brett. Go on.
So I got us name a city that I've been
City
to.
or a town that your favourite, one of your favourites you've ever visited.
The obvious answer is
starting
Newport.
with
Newport. That's where I'm from.
yeah. Well,
I
you
can't
could
say it's
say
one of my
that.
favourites though. I can't stand that place. But
You
I
could
have
say it.
one.
You'll get 1 point. You'll get 1 point for that. So if you want to stick with that, you can.
yeah, I'll stick with Newport.
Okay, cool.
It's home. It's a hometown.
It's
Nice, easy answer. Yeah. I can't think of anything. I can't think of others.
Okay, go on then, Jay.
Wait, let me just 100% make sure.
Okay,
it's a
Kurt,
city.
while he's 100% checking, come on.
Okay,
I mean, the only one I've been to that I can think of that name is Birmingham. The only other ones I've been to near me are Basildon and Braintree. And Jesus Christ, if Basildon and Braintree came up in this round, then I would immediately challenge and I'd give myself 2 points.
Birmingham. It
What?
must have been somewhere better than Birmingham.
Wait, lads, should we? I was going to
Beginning
say,
with
should we
BJKM.
challenge this as Birmingham being the best place
Have
he's ever
you-
been? I
Alright,
don't
what
know.
countries have you been
I'm
to?
really not sure.
Portugal, Cyprus, America,
There has to be something.
Mauritius.
Where did you go in
Don't-
America?
America, I went to Texas. So yeah, good luck trying to find a good place there.
I just thought of a better answer now. Gutted.
Ah.
It's all right. You got your point. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could
you've
have
got
had two.
point-
I could have had
you've got
two
point
though. I could have had two.
What were you going to say, Brett?
Oh, I've
Bondi.
no clue.
Bondi.
Where?
Yeah, I was quite young.
Bondi.
Okay.
Bondi. Oh, nice. Yeah. Is that a
I
town
know.
or a city, though?
It's a, yeah, I guess so. It's not a city, but it's a town. I guess I don't know what you would call it really. A suburb.
Yeah.
It's a suburb, you know.
Nah,
Yeah.
we might have
I think-
challenged that
I
just
think-
based
Vetoed
on
it.
what it is.
I think Jeff should have laid it a little bit more open than cities and towns. That makes it a little bit more specific.
Yeah. But, you know, never
We
mind.
still appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
let's
gonna
see.
have
Let's
to
see.
ask
Let's see. Let's see what next one brings.
If-
I don't know whether we should be challenging Kurt on Birmingham.
Well,
Birmingham
I
being
need
the
to know
best,
places he's
being
been.
the best K place that he's B place he's ever
Oh,
been. Whoa! Is that for getting over
Oh,
30
God, he's got his
likes?
face on it.
I love this. This is great. Thanks, guys. Is there any more there, Brett? 35 likes and we'll change it again.
Yeah, there could be more. You have to like and find out.
Like and subscribe, people. Okay.
Josh, I'm Joshua. I'm not triple captaining Trent Alexander-Arnold. Stop asking for likes of that.
No, he is. If we get to 50 likes, he will do it. The
we
way
get
to
to
man-
100,
I
I
need
will
to
do
catch
it.
him somehow.
I mean, who's talking right now? Because all I see.
Why are you trying to hurt
It's
my rank like
fire,
that,
right?
Joshua?
It's ironic that my red arrow on this firework is upside down. Like my game week will be like this.
It's
It's trying
turning
to turn
sideways. There we go.
There's my game week.
It's just showing, Brett, that your red arrows are going to go up. You're going to get more of them.
He's going to
No,
hack the game.
yeah, this is the metaphor for my vice captain this week, a rocket.
Okay, I'm gonna. Kurt, really, I'm not sure, brother. Brett, I don't know. What do you think? Should we let him have Birmingham?
Yeah. I'll do
All
that.
right, all right.
It's
So
good
1
city.
point for you.
I
I
think
don't.
Birmingham's
I don't know if it's the most favourite city or town you've ever been to, but we'll let you have it.
I'm trying to
It's
think of
not.
anywhere in Manchester
It's
that might begin
not.
with.
Well, don't admit to that if you want a point.
I admitted for it when I admitted for it when I went straight in. I said, I don't think I've been to anywhere else with those
He's
letters.
got to get those letters. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because there's no
Gave me
point
loads
in
of
him
places
going.
otherwards.
Yeah, there's no point in him going. Oh yeah, I really liked it when I went to this place, and it's not a letter.
Yeah,
Any of us have as the name.
true.
'Cause
Have
there's-
you liked
To be
Paris?
fair, there's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of places that I like more than the place I'm going to say.
Okay, go on then. Say it.
But I'm going to go for New York.
Oh yeah, I've been there as well. Forgot that.
I love the just how busy it was, just how metropolitan it was, and the food. I like the food, the variety of food.
Hold on, you loved how busy it was.
Yes, I like busy places. There's a reason I live in London.
That's my favourite thing about my my route to work is that it's absolutely ram packed in the morning.
I don't go there to go to work. There's a difference between the commute to work and being a tourist.
I don't know.
Right. Well, there we go. that concludes the first
See, Nim didn't challenge that because
JN
it started with
question.
an N. It's just like,
Yeah,
I'll
I
take that
mean,
point.
yeah, you can all have a point. It's fine. I think I'm winning. It's good for this week. We'll
Well,
take
yeah,
it.
no one said it would begin with J. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, not this
New
week.
name anywhere
But,
beginning with J in general.
but you
Well, I have
never
not been
know.
anywhere that begins with J. I tried to find somewhere.
You never know, Jay. Next week it could be a question that could be all about Jays. So, never know. Let's wait and see what
Good
Jeff
luck with
brings
that.
us. Actually, we won't be doing FPL next week, will we, Jay?
No, I don't believe we will.
We will be gaming instead, I believe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yes. Hopefully, we'll be playing some Among Us next week in international break for a bit of a change. And then in the second week of international break, before we come back, before Game Week 9, we will be back again with another FPL stream to answer all of your questions. So on that note, I'll pass you over to Jay to wrap us up.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. Jeff has just put the scores up in the chat, by the way. Nim's on 4, Brett's on 2, me and Kurt are on 1 each. So that's mainly because me and Kurt both gave you points. That's the main reason. Because we're generous. We're generous people. We're not competitive.
Nice to have points in something. Give me some of your FPL points, mate. I'll trade you for these ones.
I'll trade you subs for points.
Among Us will be on Twitch. TP, thanks for asking.
Potentially, if me and Nim can sort out a time, we could maybe get on both. Potentially as well.
Possibly, yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the 32 likes and thank you for all of the questions. If you do want to keep up to date with when we're going live on Twitch and on YouTube, do make sure to follow us on Twitter at FPL Wildcats and on Instagram as well. So thank you guys so much for that. Make sure to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell and we will see you guys next time.